But that's why I like your cameras to be on so that I can put a face to your name and that helps me learn it. So we will go ahead and get started. We'll probably have more people come in. If not, that's okay. I'm glad that y'all are here. Um, just to remind y'all, and I'll always remind you that the class is recorded and uploaded to the YouTube page. And so you can visit the YouTube page and rewatch class, or you can watch class if for some reason you have to miss. And then there's also the tutorials on there under playlists and Tai Chi. And it has a video for each of the movements and a video with all of them together. Last Friday, there was a request for me to turn around and do the advanced 6 movements, which we're not there yet. We haven't learned advanced movements yet for us, but we'll get there. And it was a request for me to turn around. And so I got that video up on Friday. So anytime you think to yourself, I wish she had a video like this or about that, just let me know. And it's just as easy for me to do the video, or if I need to research something and do a video on it, I'm willing to do whatever y'all need. So you know that I teach in mirror image. So whenever I say my back turned, there was the request to have my back turned. It's because I teach in mirror image. So whenever I'm facing you and I say shift weight to your right leg, I shift weight here. Well, in my real life, this is my left leg, but I will say right. So if I turn around and I say shift weight to my right leg, then I'm actually shifting to my right leg. Let me take off this jacket. So mirror image sometimes is difficult to follow. It is difficult to follow for me because there's something inside of my brain that turns you around and says, why is she saying shift right whenever she's moving her left? Like, I'm so confused. I didn't know that was something about me until I was at a conference and they were learning to hula hoop. Okay. And so, not hula hoop, the thing on from Hawaii, the hula. Is that what it's called?
Hula.
Hula
Hula.
dance? Okay. So they were doing the hula. Well, the girls in front of us were teaching us how to do it. And so they were going to trying to do mirror image. They were going to the left and then they were going to the right. Well, I'm sitting in front of them watching. And so when they would go to the left, I would go to my left. And when they opposite, I would go to the right. Well, the other people, they mirror imaged them. So they were going to their left, and the people with me were going to their right. There's a video, and I'm going the opposite way of everybody because my brain turned around the instructor. I saw that they were going to their right, so I went to my right. That may or may not make a lick of sense to y'all, and it's okay if it doesn't. But I say all that to say I teach mirror image so I can see y'all. I can see myself. And although me personally, I do not like being taught mirror image. I don't learn well mirror image. So I like when somebody turns around and I can follow them just like I'm standing. So that's why I did that video, because there apparently is somebody in class that can't learn mirror image. All right. All that said, if I'm saying shift right and you're shifting to your left foot, the world is not going to come to an end. The Tai Chi police will not show up and arrest you, I promise. Most of the moves that we do in Tai Chi we do it both ways. We will do it to the right and then we'll do it to the left. So it ends up being balanced. The only one we really do, only one side and one time is commencement. And so if you shift right, if I say shift right, even though this is my left leg, I'm mirror imaging you, I'm shifting right and I'm stepping left. If you're at your house shifting left and stepping right, it's okay. So don't beat yourself up over that. The main thing is we're doing it. We are doing it. One leg or the other, we are doing it. The main thing is that we're doing it and we're doing it thinking about our principles. So always, no matter what we're doing, principles. So let's get ourselves warmed up, walk in and open and closing our hands as I talk about principles. Principles under movement control. So no matter what we do, we think slow, smooth, and continuous. That's our goal. Movement control is also gentle resistance, which that's not something I usually talk about in the very beginning, but we'll get there. Gentle resistance is under our principle of movement control. Body structure principle talks about our upright posture. And we want to have upright posture outside of Tai Chi class as well as in Tai Chi class. The other body structure principle is weight transfer. And so within weight transfer, we have what we call an empty step where we place our foot out and then transfer the weight. So we empty step, then transfer weight. Weight transfer, by doing that empty step, by doing an empty step, weight is on this leg a lot longer than if I stepped and shifted at the same time. By keeping weight on one leg longer, the muscles in this leg become stronger and more able to stabilize you, hold you upright, and you're less likely to fall. So you see why when we follow principle, no matter what we're doing, we're going to get benefits and be better for doing these movements. So we're always thinking principle. So right and left, yes, there are parts of our Tai Chi movements that ask you to step right first and then step left or go right or left first. But as long as we're having upright posture, we're stepping with an empty step and then shifting our weight. We're going slow, smooth, and continuous. Because imagine if you were in a hurry, okay? Let me add Miss Linda. All right, imagine that you shift weight in a hurry. So you might empty step, but then immediately give it weight. So by slowing down, again, your weight is on one leg longer because you slowed down the movement. The longer you can hold weight on one leg, I mean, this isn't a move in Tai Chi, but when you shift the weight, that's essentially what you're at. The longer the weight is on the leg, that muscle gets stronger and more stabilizing. So those are our principles of movement control and body structure. The third one has to do with internal experience of Tai Chi, and that is song joints or open joints. Now, when I say song, you're hearing me correctly. S-O-N-G, song. And that is why I tell you not to lock your joints, but to keep a soft bend. So we keep a soft bend in our elbow. We keep a soft bend in our knees. We don't lock. We're not Frankenstein. We don't lock our joints. We keep them open. An open joint can also be in our armpit where we hold our arms out from our body and it allows energy to flow within our body. And then finally, Jing. We don't get a lot of Jing in class because Jing is mental quietness. And once we learn it, and the people who are in my advanced class, Sharita, I know you have experienced mental quietness where we just nobody talks. We're just doing those movements, and it's a whole different internal experience. But first, we got to learn what we're doing. We can't just go doing it without learning it. So we have to be patient with ourselves. Let's start with our warm-ups, getting in our stable stance, upright posture, feet shoulder width or hip width apart, wherever you feel most stable. Let's begin with our neck. Okay, no tension in our shoulders. Here we go. Bring those hands up, pull towards our chin and chest, turn and push, and follow those hands all the way down. You should feel those stretch in the back of your neck. Continue to breathe as you go through these movements. So y'all let me know if y'all ever have any questions or if I say something that's just confusing or you don't understand. Or maybe you just want to know more about it.
Is your legs slightly bent?
They are. It's kind of hard to tell because my blue jeans are kind of the same color as the carpet. And I wasn't thinking about that when I picked my clothes out. But it's a soft bend. So I'm not squatted down, obviously, and I'm not locked kneed. It's just a soft bend.
Okay.
And you may see me kind of go up and down a little bit. And that's I don't know how to describe it. Let me think about how to describe what I'm doing. I'm kind of sinking into that motion. When my hands come down, sometimes I bend my knees a little bit more. And when my hands come up, I rise my legs a little bit, but I never lock my knees, if that makes sense. It's kind of sinking into that movement. Now let's go side to side, looking over that shoulder, coming back to front and switching. Continuing to breathe. It's easy to hold your breath whenever we're busy doing something. We kind of forget to breathe. The more you practice this movement, the more mobility you'll have in your neck. So it's encouraging to kind of let go of any stiffness that you have in that neck as you go side to side. Roll our shoulders. Little circles, thinking the size of a quarter. Our hands drawing those little circles on the side of our legs, rolling forward first. And now let's roll back. Again, little circles. May feel like a massage you give yourself. Continuing to breathe. Being aware of posture. Not locking any joints. Rolling forward and back. All right, big shoulder circle. Palms come up, turn, and push down. In terms of breath, I inhale as I come up and exhale as I push down. Let's take our ball right here. Hands facing each other. Remember, shoulders still relaxed. We're going to stretch our spine. One hand pushes down towards the ground. The other comes up and pushes up towards the ceiling. So we're stretching that spine. And again, still not straightening our arms, keeping that soft bend. Come back to our ball and switch. Stretching that spine. Y'all, a week ago, we were anticipating snow, and we got some. I don't know how much y'all got, but we got a beautiful dusting of snow. I would guess maybe 5 inches. It's hard to tell because some of that was like sleet rain, so it doesn't measure the same way as if it were all snow. I was just thinking about how nice it was to be warm and how cold I've been. That made me think of that snow. Wow, what changed in a week. Come back to our ball. Now let's go side to side. So the hand on top tells us the direction we go. We switch, we come back across to just above that knee. Switch. We're just going side to side. Check and make sure you're not holding any tension in your shoulders. Nice and relaxed as you go side to side. Now today we're going to be introduced to waving hands in clouds. And this movement right here is an introduction to waving hands in clouds, where it's a torso movement. It makes me also think of last week being asked, is my head turning side to side? No, my head's not turning. My head is attached to my body. My body is turning side to side, and my head's going along for the ride. So it may look like my head's turning, but it's not. Back to center. So those are for our spine. Now we're headed to our lower body. Before we head to our lower body, I want to mention gentle resistance. You know how I said I don't talk about that at first, but I want you to remember some words I used. Remember whenever we did our first neck exercise and I said, pull towards you, and then I said, turn, and I said, push away from you. All right, imagine if instead of those words, I said, bring your hands up, bring them towards you, and then turn and away from you and down. Okay, we just did the same movement, didn't we? Let's do it again. Bring your hands up, pull towards you, turn, push away from you, and follow those hands down. And then hands up, bring them towards you, turn and away from you, and all the way down. Did you feel a difference between those two? The wording made you think more gentle resistance because pull is a resistance word. Push is a resistance word. So even though you don't have any kind of weight that makes you push or pull, just by thinking and doing that motion with a push and a pull wording allowed you to use more muscles. So that's what I'm talking about with gentle resistance in our movement. So no, I hadn't talked about it, but just by using those words, I bet you applied gentle resistance. All right, let's go to our lower body. So now we're going to shift weight. And this is when it gets difficult for some people that may have balance issues. So have a chair nearby or be near a wall or a table that's not going to scoot if you lean on it. Because we are shifting weight to one leg, and we're going to take the other leg, place our heel forward and our hands back. That's a counterbalance. Paws in the middle and toe back, hands forward. Keep an upright posture as you do this movement. When you place your toe back, it's out like a kickstand. And that helps it be more stable. And don't forget to breathe. Come back to center, shift weight, heel forward, hands back, pause in the middle, and toe back, hands forward. Leg is so strong, holding our weight as we move this other leg front and back. Like I said, holding weight on one leg, going slow and smooth, helps make our legs stronger. Now let's shift our weight from one leg to the other. In this movement, we want to keep an upright posture, even though we're shifting weight to one side. These hands go with the weight shift and they stop at our frame. So the edge of my body, that's my frame. And then I tap that other foot out. Bring it back, switch my hands, shift, and tap. Bring it back, switch, shift, and tap. Continuing to breathe. Notice we have a tendency to want to lean as we shift weight, but we want to resist that and keep our bodies upright. Very good. Now for our knees, we have loose fists down here by our hips. We're going to shift weight to one leg and lift the other foot. We're going to tap it out and punch the opposite hand. Bring it back. And even when we punch out, we keep that soft bend in that elbow. So we're not really punching anything. Taking my time with the weight shift. Making sure before I lift that other foot that that weight is secure right over top of that knee and ankle. Now we're going to step out. So we shift the weight, small step forward. We're going to keep both feet on the floor, especially this back foot, as we shift weight to that front foot and we bring it back. So we're not shifting all the weight, just enough. Shift, step, shift and punch. Again, staying upright in our posture. It's a small step forward. We would really complicate things if we took a big old step out there. It'd be a lot harder to recover from it and get back upright. Well, everything in Tai Chi is really small. And it's hard to transition in the beginning when we're just used to doing everything so big and fast. It's one of the complaints about Tai Chi is that it's just too slow. But what we don't realize, or most people don't realize, is how much we need to slow down. Now for our ankles, we're going to shift the weight to one leg and then heel, toe. We're rocking that foot, working on that mobility of our ankle joint. Bring the foot back, shift the weight. Now for the other foot, heel, toe. And you may go toe, heel, it doesn't matter. Just rocking that foot. Whatever makes the best sense to you. Bring it back, shift the weight. Now we're going to go big toe, little toe. Again, whichever way you want to go, we're just going side to side. This one's a little more difficult. Test the mobility of that ankle joint. It's less natural movement of our ankle. Bring that foot back, shift the weight, and then little toe, big toe. I tend to go how I read, from left to right. So when I do this foot, I go little toe, big toe. Out, in. At one time, we called this corn and bunion. All right, give yourself a good shake. Any questions about any of those warm-up movements? Turn the heater off. I'm warmed up now. But they're warm-up stretches to get our major joints ready for exercise. You can do those movements, and as long as you're following principles, you're going to get a good Tai Chi moment. Oh, but we know Tai Chi is a series of movements done in a certain order, and we're learning what those are for our basic six. We've learned commencement, we've learned single whip, and then we've kind of talked about that transition to waving hands in clouds where we Tai Chi walk. So we step, empty, then shift, and follow step. So that's kind of where we are. So let's review. Commencement. I'm going to start over here because, as we know, whenever we do our basic six, from commencement, we single whip, wave hands in clouds to the right, and then come to the center for open and close, and then we single whip and wave hands in clouds to the left. So I start over here for the sake of space. Get you a few deep breaths. All right, our hands start to our sides. Our weight is on both legs. Our feet are shoulder width apart. We bring our hands up facing each other, and they're away from our bodies. They're out from our bodies. Nothing's happening with our legs when we bring those hands up. When we bring those hands down, we shift to our right leg. So right there, shift right. That leaves our left foot to do something. So I'm going to place that left foot out, and then I bring my hands in towards my hips and up my body like an elevator. Now I'm ready to shift weight to that left foot as I shift left and take my arms forward. Bring my right foot forward. Now I pull my hands back. Fingers up, ready for open and close. So that's the first two moves. Up. Again, commence. Hands up, down, shift right. Place that left foot. Hands come in and up. Shift left as those hands go out. Right foot forward. Hands come back. Open and close. So when I brought that right foot forward, immediately it's an empty step. No weight is given. But then when I pull those hands back, that's when weight goes to both legs. So when I open and close, weight is on both legs. All right, again, commence, hands up, down, shift right, step left, hands come in and up, shift left as the hands go out, right foot forward, hands come back, open and close. All right, single whip. Remember, we go to the right first. So we shift left, we step out right. Remember, it's at an angle, and stepping at that angle about 45 degrees, it naturally turns our bodies in that direction. Our hands are here from our open and close movement. We adjust the weight to both legs. Now we push our hands out, turn our palms away from us, and separate those hands. Our eyes and head follow our left hand. So our head and eyes follow the hand opposite of the foot that steps out. That is a rule for single whip. So here we do it for the first time, and in a minute we'll do single whip to the left. And again, our head and eyes follow the hand opposite of the foot that steps out. Now you remember when we did our neck warm up where we followed that hand from side to side and looked towards that shoulder? This movement right here, the single whip, is what that movement really prepares us for. So imagine as you're following that hand and moving that head, you feel the neck, the muscles in your neck stretch. So that warm-up movement gets us ready for this. So again, coming from open and close, our first single whip to the right is shift left, step right, adjust weight. Push, turn, and separate. Eyes follow our left hand. But we didn't forget to extend that right hand all the way. So now that's the end of our single whip. Again, open and close. Single whip, shift left, step right, adjust weight. Push, turn, and separate. Eyes follow that left hand. Now to transition to waving hands and clouds, I shift left and bring my right foot and my right hand back. And then I'm going to step out. That will be my first step in waving hands and clouds. So there's that transition movement that I don't know whether it's single whip or waving hands and clouds. It's just the kind of the movement that gets us from one to the other. All right, so again, from the beginning, first three moves. And commence. Hands up, down, shift right. Step left, hands come in and up. Shift left as they go out, right foot forward, hands come back, open and close. Single whip, shift left, step right, adjust weight. Push, turn, separate, eyes follow that left hand. Transition. Shift left, bring that right foot, right hand back, gets us ready to step for waving hands and clouds. All right, let's do it again, but this time I'm not going to talk you through it. I'll say the names of the movements. And commence. Open, close. Single whip. And transition. One more time, no talking. Follow me and begin. Any questions? That means I might be doing a good job. All right, so waving hands in clouds is Tai Chi walking to the first time we do it, we walk to the right. And so, like I said, we did that single whip and we did that prepare and then we stepped out right. So what we're doing with our legs is, yes, we just stepped out right. Now we're going to shift right and step left. Shift left, step right. Shift right, step left. Shift left, step right. All right, you follow me here? We're walking sideways. And what's special about this walking sideways is that we place the foot out, don't immediately give it weight, then we do. Then we do. Place the foot, then give it weight. Place the foot, then give it weight, okay? So in our waving hands and clouds, we do 6 steps. And that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so there's 6 steps in our waving hands and clouds. When we do it to the left, we do exactly the opposite. We step our left first. That's 1, 2. So if my memory serves me, I invited y'all to practice Tai Chi walking sideways because there's a learning curve to it. You all our bodies are different, okay? So I have very short legs. My short legs cannot take big old steps. I didn't take that big of a step, but if I were to try to, really walk sideways with these big steps, then that would be terrible on my knees. And I, I wouldn't be doing anything to help myself. But if you have really long legs, I swear I've been with people whose legs come up to here on me. They're so tall. These little bitty steps, that's nothing for them. So their step's going to be a little bit bigger. So we're all different. Well, you can't just take a ruler and measure my feet and go, okay, I need to take a step about 11 inches. You can't do that. You have to do what feels natural for your body. And so the more you practice walking sideways, the more you go, oh, that was a little bit far. How did I know that was a little far? Because when I went to go pick up my right foot, I kicked off the floor rather than shifting over here and being able to pick this up and move it. That was a lot more difficult. Whereas if I have a smaller step and I shift the weight, then I can easily pick this up and move it. If we had to have like a perfect world explanation, Miss Gwen's coming in. I want to write her down. If we had a perfect world explanation of distance, it would be step and then shift and put this foot, so it's right here, right? Okay, so I'm going to lift and I'm going to put it down about right beside where it just was. That's how small these steps are. You're lifting it and you're putting it down about right next to where it just was. I mean, right next to it. But that's nice if you're looking in a mirror, which I highly suggest you look in a mirror and or on a video and watch yourself doing the movements, because you may be surprised that in your mind you're lifting that or you're keeping that heel on the ground, but when you look in the video or in the mirror, you're like, what is that foot doing? That heel is up, but your brain told you your heel was down. So that's a lot of talking to talk about walking sideways, but it's important for you to have your experience with the movement, being able to maintain an upright posture, being able to transfer weight without putting unneeded stress on your knees as you shift the weight right over top of that knee and ankle before you lift this other foot and place it back down. So I still encourage you to practice walking sideways, left and right. Waving hands in clouds has a hand movement. Remember a while ago when we were doing the spinal ball side to side? Well, in waving hands in clouds, we do that same torso movement. Our hands just look a little different. So the way our hands look is I have one hand, it's still engaged, it's down here by my hip, and the other hand comes cross body like this, just like it were a sash. Like, you're the princess, you won queen of the day or whatever. So we're here. This is my hand that's on top, just like in our ball. The hand on top tells us the direction we're going. Turn. Now let's switch our hands. This hand comes down to my hip. This hand comes up like a sash. Turn. Switch. turn, switch, turn, side to side. All right, here I'm going to my left. Here I'm going to my right. Let's complicate it. When I step right, I turn right. When I step left, I turn left. Step right, turn right. Step left, turn left. Let me get y'all a new poster. This is your cheat sheet for waving hands and claps. Putting it up here. Step, switch, turn, shift. Can y'all see that? I highly recommend you make your own cheat sheet. My other one looks like this. It's a little post-it note. Starting to lose its sticky. That's how long it's been here. So this is your cheat sheet to help you do waving hands and clouds and not have to use your brain. Your paper is your brain. But up close it says step empty. Remember, we place that foot out there. We don't immediately give it weight. Switch, that means we change our hands. Turn, which means wave or, turn, we go to the side. Shift, and then that's talking about weight. So step empty, switch, change your hands, turn or wave, because it's called waving hands and clouds, and then shift, weight. Okay, so there's your cheat sheet right there. So we've talked about the footwork where we stepped and walked to the side. Okay, we've talked about the handwork where we turn, switch, turn, switch, turn, switch, turn, switch. So you can think about this hand coming down on the switch like you're banging a drum. I don't know why I think that's like a sash, but here, come down, bang the drum, and come up. Switch. Okay, so that's your hand part now. Now we want to put it together, okay? So we just finished our single whip, and we're ready for that step. Okay, so we stepped. Now we need to switch and turn. Shift, step, switch, turn. Shift, step, switch, turn. This is your cheat sheet. Shift, step, switch, turn. 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 All right, when we get to that sixth one, which that may be the eighth, but come back to center and we're gonna open and close. So after those 6 steps, open and close. Another way I remember like what is when I step left, I turn left. I step right, I turn right. I step left, I turn left. I step right, I turn right. So that's the pattern of that movement. It's a dynamic movement. It's a lot going on. And so this is probably the first time where you're like, ah, I feel like I'm not doing any, it's just too many things going on. But it just takes practice. So that's what we need to do is practice. So let's do our open and close. Our first single whip, which is our shift left, step right, adjust weight, push, turn, separate, eyes follow our left hand. Shift left, bring that right foot, right hand back. Now waving hands in clouds. Step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn. That's 3. Shift, step, switch, turn. 2 more. Step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn. Now that's our 6th one. This time we come to the middle and open and close. Now we're ready for our next single whip. Now we're single whipping to our left. So we shift right, step left, adjust weight, push, turn, separate, eyes follow our right hand. Shift left, shift right, sorry. Bring that left foot, left hand back. Now we're waving hands in clouds to the left. Step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn. See why the cheat sheet is so helpful? Switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn. Last time. Shift, step, switch, turn, and come to the front for open and close. And then close it out. That is all of basic 6. So we have learned it. Do we know it? Are we great at it? Not yet. Got some practicing to do, but we have learned it. So let's go through it several times, all the way through, y'all, from the top. And commence. Hands come up. Down, shift left. No, down, shift right. Sorry. Place that left foot. Hands come in and up. Shift left as those hands go out. Right foot forward. Hands come back. Open and close. Single whip. Shift left. Step right. Adjust weight. Push. Turn and separate. Eyes follow that left hand. Shift left. Bring that right foot, right hand back. Waving hands in clouds. Step. Switch. Turn. Shift. Step. Switch. Turn. Shift. Step. Switch. Turn. Shift. Step. Switch. Turn. Shift. Step. Switch. Turn. Last time. Shift. Step. Switch. Turn. Back to the middle for open. Close. Single whip. Shift right. Step left. Adjust weight. Push. Turn. Separate. Eyes follow our left hand. Right hand, sorry. Shift right. Bring that left foot, left hand back. Waving hands in clouds. Step. Switch. Turn. Shift. Step. Switch. Turn. Shift. Step. switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, to the middle for open, close. Close it out. All right, follow me this time without talking you through it. I'm just going to call out the names and commence. And close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close. Close it out. What was that like?
Getting there.
Getting there. That's what I like to hear. Now, I caught myself not being as choppy. So when I do waving hands in clouds and I do, I step and switch at the same time. And I was thinking that maybe one of y'all would catch on to that. Instead of going step, then switch, turn, shift, I was stepping and switching at the same time. And that's part of being continuous in Tai Chi, and that comes with learning. We learn and practice it in a very choppy way in the beginning, and so we learn to be a little bit more continuous. So we step and switch at the same time, turn, switch, step and change, turn, shift. So we try to work towards being less choppy and more smooth and continuous with our movements. But I always give you forgiveness in the beginning, be very choppy. All right, let's do it one more time, then we'll cool down. And commence. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands and open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close, and close it out. So we'll continue to practice that, however you can work on your own, specifically on Tai Chi walking to the side. Make yourself a cheat sheet with step, switch, turn, and left, and practice that waving hands and clouds. That movement in particular is a pull out, what I call a pull out movement, where if you're just like kind of feeling overwhelmed and you need kind of a breathing break or a meditative tight break where you need to pull your brain back from what's going on. This is called meditation and movement. Tai Chi often is. And this is just that movement that you can just get lost in. You can Tai Chi walk until you hit a wall and Tai Chi and turn and Tai Chi walk the other way. But the circular and repetitiveness of those movements is very calming. So this is a movement I would love to see you master so that you can pull it out and use it in those moments. All right, let's give ourselves a nice fist massage, challenging ourselves to lift that knee up a little bit higher, even if we have to have that wall or table or chair to hold us as we lift that knee up, because that helps stretch that hip flexor. And then, of course, we're getting that nice fist massage, breaking up lactic acid. Now let's tense all of our muscles up and let it go. We don't want to live in tension. We want to let that go so it doesn't cause us any kind of pain. Tense and relax. Tense and relax. Big shoulder circle. And take your time with the inhale and the exhale and breathe in your own time and space. Practicing inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your mouth. And to end class, we make a right fist that represents our strength, our left hand, our fingers together representing our friendship, our thumb in our humility. And we put those together in mutual respect. We say, Namaste. Well, there we go. Look at us learning. What? We are on week 4, and we have learned all of our warm-ups and our basic 6. So great job. Y'all being willing to show up and show out. And Sharon, this is your first class.
Yeah.
Well, y'all keep coming back. Y'all have
I thought that was you.
Y'all have a wonderful week, and I will see you, if not Friday, Sharita and Miss Quinn are in my advanced class. And but if not, I'll see y'all next Tuesday.
All right. See you
Now
Friday,
let me know if you need anything, okay?
Thanks,
Okay.
Jennifer.
All right.
I'll
Love
watch
y'all.
Love y'all.
Love you too.
I'll
Bye-bye.
watch the previous
Have a great day.
videos.
Good. Yeah, watch those videos. The tutorial videos are very helpful. And then if something's missing that y'all want me to do, just let me know and I'll get it up there.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.